Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm really pleased that you're here joining me today for this talk, which is called Joyfully Vegan, Tips for Successfully Transitioning to a Vegan Diet. There's going to be a little bit of an interactive part to this if you would like to join in. So if you have something to write with, a notebook and a pen or your phone, there's just a couple of exercises that you can join in with if you would like to. So I'm going to move through the slides now, but if you want to grab something to write with while I'm just doing a little introduction, then you can. So I'm Natalie Heath. My website is plantpoweredwellness.co.uk, and you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/healthcoachnatalie. So one of the first things I like to ask, because I usually present this talk live, is just to see like where we are at. So who here, by a show of hands, is currently vegan? And who is in the process of transitioning to a vegan diet? And who is thinking about going vegan sometime in the future?
Yeah. Transitioning. Yeah, it's realistic.
Yeah. So we usually get a real cross-section of answers to this, and that's great, because hopefully this talk is going to give you some really good information and insights no matter where you are on your journey. If you're vegan, hopefully there might be a few little hints in here that might help you. If you're transitioning, there's definitely going to be a lot of stuff here for you. And definitely if you're thinking about going vegan sometime in the future, hopefully I can show you that it's not a scary or intimidating thing. You don't have to miss out on anything, and it's actually enjoyable and fun. So as I said, grab a pen, paper or your phone if you'd like to join in. And this is just a little bit about me. I'm not going to spend too much talking about this. But I'm a holistic health coach, and I was certified by the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York. And I've decided to use this qualification coupled with my own experience and knowledge to specialize in helping people to heal and thrive using plants. And I do that in two ways. So I help people to move towards a plant-based diet or a vegan lifestyle. And I also help them to heal and thrive with the most potent form of herbal plant medicine, which is essential oils. So I've been veggie since 1992 and vegan since 2012. And my 7-year-old is also vegan by his choice. About a year ago, he decided he was vegetarian and he decided to go vegan. So I was very proud of him for that. And just a little bit about my sort of eating history. I've had quite a colourful history, shall we say. I've battled with food in the past. I've been through disordered eating, and it all just started to make more sense to me as I learnt about how food can actually harm and heal. It can connect us and it can destroy relationships. And when I started to understand these things and started to realize that actually what I chose to put in my body had a huge impact on how I felt, how I connected with people, how I connected with the world, and basically my whole life, that was actually really revolutionary for me. And I started to be able to connect with my heart and my core values, which we're going to speak about in this talk, and choose my food from a place of love. And that again was really transformational for me. And I'm going to share how I overcame a lot of these obstacles, and how my diet and lifestyle is a direct expression of the truth of who I am. To me, veganism is love in action. So when I'm working with new clients, the first thing that we like to establish is the person's goals and their big why, which is also known as their purpose. So the first step in making a lifestyle change, just like any journey that you're going to take in life is to know your destination and your reason for traveling. What do you want and why do you want it? So what is important to you when it comes to your diet and lifestyle? Do you want to go 100% vegan overnight, or does a gradual transition feel better for you? Do you want to make healthy vegan whole food meals for your family so that you can all become healthier? Maybe you want to lose weight by becoming healthier on a whole food plant-based diet. Are you looking to heal from your illnesses or health conditions? Do you want to reduce your impact on the environment or animal suffering by living a vegan lifestyle? So these are some really important questions to ask yourself. And it's not just enough to say, I want to go vegan. What we need to be doing to really move forward strongly with this or any goal is to have a reason, and actually to put that into a time frame as well. This is the basics of goal setting. So here's the first exercise that you're invited to take part in if you would like to. So you can just take a couple of minutes to write down your specific goal and think about when you want to achieve it by and what your reason is. So I've written an example here. Time frame is slightly out because I presented this talk a little while ago. But the example is, you might write, I want to become 100% vegan by the 3rd of February or in 3 months' time, whatever that date is. I want to achieve this so that I can heal my digestive issues, protect myself from lifestyle-related diseases, and help save animals and the environment. So those were my reasons for going vegan. You might have similar reasons, or you might have different reasons. You know, there's no right or wrong answer. But I'd like to invite you to just take a minute here, and if you have something to write with, or if you don't, just doing it in your head, just have a little think about what your goal is, what your time frame for doing that might be, and most importantly, what your reason is for making that choice.
Probably more transition. And I've had 2 daughters that are vegetarian and my partner's gluten-free. So the whole concept isn't as daunting as I thought it would be. Change it. But, and I was saying to Elise that the whole gut health, I think it's got a lot to do with supporting that rather than
more than anything else. I think it's useful to know kind of what your motivations are around it as well, because there's no right or wrong.
No.
It's just kind of knowing what's going to compel you to the next step if you want to. There's no absolute, you don't have to do anything. If you choose to, well, then.
Okay, so we'll move on, and just to let you know that there is going to be a copy, PDF copy of these slides available. So if you want to revisit any of these exercises at a later date in your own time, you'll be able to, because I can send you across these slides to help remind you of the exercises. So the second thing, after we've established the goals and the purpose, the big why, is to actually connect with your heart and your core values. This helps you to not be afraid of judgment and to be stronger when you come up against roadblocks on your journey, which you inevitably will. So the way that I like to see it is that, for me, my heart is my engine. And when you tune into your heart, it's like revving up your engine, ready to go. So it's the driving force. Okay, it's the power behind making that journey and making that transition. And so if the heart is the engine, the core values we can see is the compass. So we've got that drive, we're fired up, we've connected with our heart, we connected with our purpose. We know why we're going to be moving forward, and we've got the power to move forward. So how do we navigate? Well, we navigate by our core values. When you have established your values, you have that compass that will guide you on your journey towards your goal. and you're going to be able to course correct, because we will come slightly off course sometimes. But as long as we're tuned into our values, our core values, we're always going to be able to course correct and come back onto the path. And so we've got another exercise here. So this is just to help you to tune into your core values, because it's sometimes not something that we might think about from day to day. When transitioning to a vegan lifestyle, knowing what my core values were gave me a strong foundation to build from, so that when I experienced obstacles, I was able to move through them from a place of stability. And that's what it gives you. It gives you that stability and that ability to be able to stay strong in your decisions and know why you're doing something. So these are my core values: health, freedom, compassion, peace, equality, truth, and love. And these are the real sort of essence behind why I choose to live the way that I do. So I'd like to invite you to think about what your core values are. Again, they might be similar to mine. You may have some of the same ones as me, or they may be different. And there's no right or wrong answer here. So take a moment now to list your top 5 or 6 core values. Again, they could be similar to mine or different. And some or more examples here on the screen for you to give you some inspiration. So you can note these down on your paper or on your phone, or just have a little think about it in your head. You know, do any of these jump out to you? Do you really resonate with any of these or any of mine that I shared? Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. So working out my core values helped me overcome my biggest obstacle. Are you ready to find out what that is?
Yeah.
Can anybody relate?
Yeah.
I always get a big show of hands when I do this talk live at this part. Cheese. Okay, so it is a big obstacle, and we're actually going to be addressing some of these obstacles, including that one. But before we do, the third thing that I like to address with people when we're making a change such as this is mindset and story. So the question is, are your obstacles real? Sometimes they will be, but a lot of the times, actually, they won't be. So your mindset, or also known as your story, the story that you tell yourself, is actually based on a lifetime of experiences and also how we were raised. You know, we have this developing all the way through our life, depending on what we're exposed to, the experiences that we have, and also how our parents, the values and the ways of thinking that our parents have brought us up with. So what we need to do when we come up against an obstacle is actually ask ourselves, is this absolutely 100% true? Is this absolutely 100% true? So occasionally, sometimes, yeah, of course it will be. But most of the time, it's actually not going to be. We're just stuck in our story. We're just stuck in the story that we're telling ourselves. And this is actually good news. It's bad news and good news. It's bad news on the surface because it's forcing us to actually look at our stories and our mindset and the way that we're choosing to respond to the world. But the good news is that we can actually change it. You know, once we become aware of this and we start making these inquiries and we start finding out these things, we can change them. And we can just choose the opposite. It's that simple. We are in control of our thoughts and the way that we choose to respond to the world. That is actually within our control. And so if we have a story that's not serving us, we can actually reprogram that by choosing the opposite, choosing what it is we want to be true for us. So looking at obstacles, so this is what we're going to look at today. Some of the obstacles, these are like the biggest ones that come up for my clients that I hear all the time. So these are the ones that I decided to address in this talk. You might have some other ones, and we can discuss anything else that comes up at the end. We're going to go through these now. So cheese or meat addiction. So first of all, just to say it's not your fault. You know, it's really important to realize that and to not feel bad if this one applies to you. Food addictions are real. So this is an obstacle that may actually be real for you. Food addictions do exist. Processed meat, bacon, ham, pepperoni contains chemicals and huge amounts of fat and salt that are highly addictive. And milk actually contains opiate-like substances called casomorphines. And these are there for a very good reason. It's in all mammals' milk, and it's there to addict the baby to the mother's milk. It's there for survival of the species. However, baby cows are much bigger than baby humans, so there's a much higher concentration already in cow's milk than there would be in human milk. And also, when we concentrate that down into a product like cheese, we're actually creating a food that has a similar effect on the brain as heroin. So cheese is actually a highly addictive food for this reason, and because of the fat and the salt and everything in it as well. And for me, this was revolutionary. When I realized this, I was able to step out of the cheese trap for good, because I knew what it was. It was actually a chemical addiction, a physical addiction. And I just decided, like any addiction, you've just got to decide to break it. You've just got to be stronger than that addiction. And for me, that gave me such motivation to move forward with it, because I wasn't going to let that rule how I wanted to live my life and what I wanted to put in my body, because connecting with my heart and my core values became stronger than that addiction. And also another tool that can help you here with addictions and the emotional aspects that come with that, or come with breaking addictions, are essential oils. There's lots of different essential oils out there that can really help you to move forward with this one, if this is an issue for you. So the next obstacle is nutrition deficiency fears. Okay, so this is a common excuse for not going vegan or not staying vegan. So we've been conditioned since birth to believe that we need the flesh and reproductive substances from other animals to survive. Now, this is an example of mindset. We are actually stuck in this untrue story. We've had this conditioning fed into our subconscious since we were able to understand speech, basically. But it isn't true. A whole food vegan diet, properly supplemented, will provide you all the nutrients you need and more. And just a note about supplementation, non-vegans are also at risk of deficiency, if not more so, because they are actually sort of under a false sense of security. Most omnivorous people that I know, for example, don't eat 3 portions of oily fish a week. Most people that I know don't do that. That's how much fish you need to be eating, oily fish, to get your omega-3 allowance. And I don't know I think I know one person that eats that amount of oily fish. Everyone else I know doesn't. So if they're not supplementing, just like a vegan, they're going to be deficient too. And also, just a note that sort of the other two that are important to highlight here, vitamin D and vitamin B12, A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to receive my vitamins via supplements. Well, actually, if you're relying on meat and dairy for these vitamins, you are still actually receiving them via supplements, just secondhand through an animal, because the animals don't actually graze in fields. That they are very reliant on getting their nutrients from their manufactured food, which actually has the nutrients put in there via supplements. So for me, I would actually prefer to choose my supplements and choose better quality supplements for myself than actually getting it secondhand via an animal, which has been a supplement anyway, and probably not a natural supplement.
Yeah.
So eating out, socializing, traveling, this is another one. And this is to do with FOMO. Does anybody know what FOMO means?
Is it fear of missing out?
Fear of missing out, exactly. So could this one be related to mindset?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it probably could. So what I have found is that actually these days, especially with veganism on the rise so much as it is, most restaurants have vegan options now. Or if they don't, they're actually happy to create off menu for you. You know, I've done this so many times. If it's maybe like a posher type of restaurant, you can call ahead and just say, oh, you know, I'm coming in and I don't eat any animal products at all. All the staff that I've spoken to and the chefs have always been really happy to create me something. They've actually always been up for the challenge, really, which is lovely. When traveling, it's important to be prepared and take snacks with you. I mean, as I said, veganism is on the rise and it is easier to get vegan food and snacks while you're out now, but it depends where you're traveling. So I always take some stuff with me just in case. And you can also research your destination. Has anyone heard of Happy Cow? It's a website.
List. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Cow website and app, and you can actually type in your destination and you can choose whether it shows you vegan restaurants or vegetarian restaurants or just restaurants that have good like vegan and veggie options, and grocery stores and stuff that you can shop in that has lots of options for you. And they even now have accommodation on there that's vegan friendly, so it's a really good resource, and you can actually then know exactly where to go and where to shop at your destination. And then when dining at friends' houses, so this is a big one for people. They don't want to put people out, but what I've found is if I'm going somewhere, I'll actually say to the host, you know, I'm sure you've got this, but I always just offer anyway. If you do need any help with some ideas of what to make, or you're really stuck, please just let me know, because I've obviously got loads of recipes and ideas and I can help you out. Sometimes they say, oh no, it's all right, I've got it, I know what to do. A lot of the time they'll say, oh my gosh, yes, that would be so helpful, you know, and they're actually really relieved that you've offered, because they're sitting there from their perspective thinking, oh gosh, I don't know what to make them, but you know, I can't ask them because then they'll think that, you know, I'm stupid, or whatever the fear is for them. So often there's just a sense of relief that you've actually brought the subject up and that you've offered to help. And I always offer to bring dessert, because most of the time, even if they've made a really nice vegan main, they'll bring out a gorgeous like chocolate cake or cheesecake for everybody else, and I'll get a bowl of fruit salad for pudding, which I consider to be breakfast really. Plus you shouldn't really be eating fruit straight after you've eaten a main meal. So I will bring I'll bring a really nice dessert, and often like all the other people at the dinner party will want to try that as well, and it's a really great talking point to introduce how vegan food, you don't have to miss out on anything eating vegan food. You know, most of the time people are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I can't believe it doesn't have any dairy in it. and I can't eat wheat either, so it's gluten-free as well. People are like, wow, this is amazing. So it's a really good way to start talking about veganism. And again, just to say here, that strong connection to your core values really helps you to stand up for your beliefs and be the change you wish to see in the world. So when you feel challenged by some of these things that you might be needing to do, actually then connecting back to your heart and your core values is really going to help you to be strong in that decision and be like, no, this is what I believe in, and I'm standing up for this, and I'm demonstrating this by the way that I live my life. So cooking skills and knowledge. So this actually could be a real obstacle, right? In the beginning, you know, you may not know how to cook or to translate that into vegan cooking. But the good thing is that this is an easy one to change. If this is a problem for you, you can change it. You know, there's loads of vegan cookery courses. There's free videos on YouTube. There's tons of vegan cookbooks, blogs, etc. There's so much knowledge out there that you can just take a little bit of time and gain some new skills and try out some new recipes. And if you're a good cook now, you'll be a good vegan cook. You know, there's really no difference apart from just a couple of different maybe ingredients that you haven't tried before, a couple of different techniques. Doesn't really take that much time to learn. So to do that, you can just set aside some time to experiment. And look at this little guy, isn't he gorgeous? Be playful and open-minded like a child. Have fun with it. You know, it's fun getting creative and learning new things and creating delicious food. And if you have children, get them involved too. They absolutely love messing around with food and in the kitchen and creating things. It's a great way to help them to eat their veggies too, because they're much more likely to eat something if they've had a hand in making it. And cooking healthy whole food meals from scratch is one of the very best things you can do for your health and your family's health too. So what a gift to give to your family, to be teaching them, and your children to be teaching them how to make healthy whole food vegan meals for themselves. That's something that's going to benefit them for the rest of their lives. And this is just a little list of veganizing maybe some of your favorite meals, or some easy vegan swaps that you might want to think about adding in. So you can have sliced portobello mushrooms as a substitute for beef and chicken strips in things like fajitas, salads, stir fries. Use jackfruit for pulled pork. Has anybody tried jackfruit before?
I haven't. Have you?
And what was that?
Jackfruit?
No, I haven't. I'd love to.
Have you had it?
Yeah, that's a really good one to try. I actually didn't like it because it was actually too meat-like for me. But it's a really big one in the vegan community, so I definitely recommend you try that one. And aquafaba for egg whites. Does anybody know what aquafaba is?
No.
You might want to explain that one, Nat.
Yeah, so it's the water from a can of chickpeas. Yeah. Because of the protein in the chickpeas, it kind of makes the water like thicker and more like egg whites. I don't know who discovered this, why they even tried this, but thankfully somebody did, because you can actually whip them up, and they foam up and they look exactly like egg whites when you whip them up, and you can make meringues and use them in place of any sort of whipped egg whites that you would need to use, and that they actually bake and become exactly like a meringue.
Yeah, we use them for baking. We use them in cakes, and we made a vegan mayonnaise with aquafaba the other day. It was really nice.
Oh, nice. That's a good idea.
Something else that we do with it. But I also use the water from the dry chickpeas. So if I am cooking dry chickpeas, I can save that water. And
is that good enough as well?
Yeah. It's even better, I think.
Yeah.
That's just weird how that works.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it does. It's a binder.
Yeah. And you probably just want to choose, if you're using the canned one, you probably just want to choose the one without salt, because otherwise it might not taste very nice in like your sweet dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So flax meal or gram flour. Gram flour is chickpea flour, or apple puree in cakes and baking to replace the eggs. So you've made a lovely egg-free, dairy-free cake. What are you going to put on top? So cashews, avocados, or coconut cream can be used to make creamy, dreamy icing for your cakes. Gram flour, chickpea flour, can be turned into omelets and quiches and things like that. And then you can also make quiches with tofu blended up. That's a really nice one. Blend it up with some nutritional yeast and some herbs and spices, and then pour it into your quiche or flan case. Mix some roasted vegetables in there. That's a really lovely one. And then you just bake it and it sets. It's really nice. Vegan parmesan with ground cashews, garlic, salt, and nutritional yeast, or you can just use the nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
Vegan melting mozzarella can be made from cashews and psyllium husks, and that's great on homemade pizza. So I found that recipe on a website called One Green Planet. If you just do a search on there for melting mozzarella, and it's like 3 or 4 ingredients, and that's it, and it's really easy to make.
We put that website on our resource list.
One Green Planet. Oh my gosh, there's so many great vegan recipes on that website. So that is a good one to use for inspiration as well.
Oh, great.
And then veggies chopped fine in the food processor and then combined with lentils. That's going to make a great substitute for minced beef. If you make things like shepherd's pie, moussaka, bolognese. So like the veggies that we use is like carrots, courgettes, celery, onions, and just put them in the food processor and chop them into small little bits. And then that texture combined with the lentils is actually really, really like a sort of a minced beef. Or you can use something like soya mince if you are okay with having something that's a little bit processed. And then canned coconut milk or frozen bananas. You can make really great vegan ice cream, and you can actually make any flavor you like. You can put peppermint essential oil in there. You could put raw cacao powder or vegan chocolate chips. You could put frozen strawberries as well to make strawberry ice cream. You can make like salted caramel from blending up dates and water and a little bit of salt, and you can put like salted caramel swirls in there. Oh my gosh, there's so many options. Don't have to miss out on anything. So this is another obstacle, so lack of time. Now 99.9% of the time this is actually mindset. There may be some people out there that are busy from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep without a break at all. I would say to those people, you probably need to look at your lifestyle a little bit, because that's not healthy to live like that the whole time. But most of us, we feel really busy, and we are busy. But actually, if something's a priority to us, we can make the time, we can find the time. We all have the same amount of time available to us. And I always use my friend Jess as an example here, because she's a big inspiration to me. She's a single mum. She's got 2 energetic boys. She actually runs 2 businesses on her own. And she makes healthy, vegan, whole food meals for herself and her family. And if she can do it, I reckon we can all do it as well. There's never going to be any more time available to you, but we can actually use the time that we've got much more effectively. And you just got to sit and think about how you're spending your time. Is how you're spending it aligned with your goals and your core values? Or are you wasting it on meaningless things like TV or surfing the internet without purpose, or talking for hours on the phone? I'm not saying that these things you should never do, because it's important to have downtime. It's important to have recreational time. It's important to have time to connect with people. But if the proportion of doing those things is meaning that you're spending too much time on those things and not enough time on things that are going to move you towards your goals, thinking about how you can maybe better use that time. So it's all about creating a good balance and being honest with yourself, I often do an exercise with my clients, a bit like a food diary, but a time diary. So writing down what you've done with each hour of your day for about a week, and then looking at it from a bird's eye perspective, you can really see how you're spending your time, and if there are any like time stealers in there that you can reduce or even eliminate if you want to. So planning and organisation. Now, this is a really important one. This is going to make your week so much easier if you can actually forward plan your menu, and you're not spending time each day thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to cook? What have I got in the fridge? And it's really good. It's really easy to do these days. There's lots of online vegan menu planners. One's called forksmealplanner.com and one's called gourmandel.com. So you could check out those resources, or of course you can do it yourself the old-fashioned way using cookbooks or blogs. Or if you really don't have time to plan and cook, there are now home delivery healthy vegan ready meals. Not sure about where you guys are, but we've got allplants.com over here in the UK. But I'm guessing there will be something similar where you are. So maybe that's something that Elise could have a little look at and help you with, if that's something you would like to find out about.
Yeah. Justin, you might know.
What was that, sorry?
So there's a company in England called All Plants, and they do vegan delivery meals. There's actually quite a few now.
Okay.
There's probably something out of Sydney, Nat.
Yeah, I'm thinking there probably is, or even ones like companies that do that maybe are not completely vegan but have vegan options. Maybe.
Yeah. We'll have a look into that.
Yeah. And if there isn't one, there's a gap in the market there. So time-saving tips. So these are just some things that I use, that I pass on to my clients. So I thought they may be beneficial for you. So when you get home from the supermarket, doing your prep as soon as you get back, wash your produce, dry it and storing it correctly. So this not only helps you when you're going to prepare your meals, but it's also going to prevent wastage, because if you're storing your fruit and vegetables correctly, they're going to spoil less, so they're going to last longer. So you're actually going to be maximizing your money as well. You can even pre-prep certain veggies so that it's much easier and faster during the week to make your meals. Things like crudités, and keep fresh in airtight tubs. The thing that people ask me about with this is, if I pre-cut my vegetables, are they going to lose nutrition? The answer is yes, they will, with every step of processing, from picking to cutting and peeling and whatever, every step of the way, as well as every day that they have been picked for, they will lose nutrition. But the question to ask yourself is, if you've pre-prepped certain things, are you more likely to actually use them and make them into meals, rather than not being bothered because you can't be bothered to do the prep and then going and getting something that's less than ideal? So it's kind of like weighing up those two things. You can make dips and dressings and sauces and things ahead of time. So if you had time to do a batch of something on a Sunday, you could make yourself up some dips and dressings, and maybe like a big batch of a vegan chili or a vegan soup or a stew or something. And then you've got ready-made food that you can use throughout the week. I really like this one. Put in the fruit and veggies for your morning juices or smoothies into paper bags already washed and dried, so that each bag has the right amount for that recipe. So you can then just throw them in the blender, hit the button, and hey presto, you've got instant breakfast. Put your protein powder in there as well, put your superfoods in there as well, and that is just going to be an amazing start to your day. It doesn't take very long at all. Put dried beans, grains, nuts and seeds into glass jars so that you can see exactly what you have, and don't waste time rummaging in cupboards for things. So this is a really great one. I appreciate that not everybody has the counter space to put everything out, but if you can put a few things out, or even if you can have them in jars inside the cupboards, or put up another shelf so you can put them up. It looks really nice, and it's just so much better for organization because you can see what's in there. You're not going to get home thinking that you can make that lentil bolognese and get to the cupboard and realize you've got about 2 tablespoons worth of lentils left and that's it. And you need to go out and get the lentils again, or have lentils all over the cupboard shelf. Has that ever happened to anyone? They come out the bags, don't they? And it's all inside the cupboard. So it keeps them fresher, and it keeps your stock taking, and your reordering much more organized. And then just smart kitchen setup helps massively here as well. So washing things, putting them away so they're ready to go when you next need them, or just having everything organized sensibly so everything's within reach, and you don't have to rummage in the back of the cupboard for the blender when you want to make the smoothie and things like that. So cost, okay, now this is another big one that people say to me. It's like, oh, it costs too much to be a vegan. Well, the truth is that's mindset. It doesn't cost more to be a vegan. This can be an area where people get stuck in their story. While it's true that vegan versions of meat and dairy can be more expensive than the meat or the dairy version itself, it's important to remember that these are highly processed foods and shouldn't actually be making up the bulk of your diet anyway. They should only really be used as occasional treats, or just something that you eat, not on a daily basis. Whole food ingredients such as veggies, beans, fruits, pulses and grains are cheap, healthy and delicious, and especially if you're buying your fruits and veggies locally and in season. So they're going to be much better for you, they're going to have much more nutrition, and they're going to be much cheaper as well. And this is the basis for a healthy whole food plant-based diet. Okay, so moving on to the secrets to a vegan transition success. So these are the top 3 secrets that help my clients to move forward with their transition. So doing a cleanse. This doesn't necessarily mean going through a strict juice fast, although you could do that if you wanted to. We're just talking about cleaning up your diet, allowing your body to get rid of the animal residue, and this is going to help you to raise your vibration and reset your habits. So if you've been eating meat and or dairy for a long time, you're going to have residue of this stuck in your digestive system physically, and also residue of that stuck in your energy field. So we want to be eating the foods that actually match the energetic frequency that we want. Okay, meat and dairy are really low vibrational foods, so you can't get something more lower than dead and decomposing. Fresh, vibrant, minimally processed plants have such a high vibrational frequency, and they're actually going to help you to create vibrant health and happiness in your body. So as I said, you don't have to go through a strict juice cleanse, although if that's something that you want to do, it would be beneficial. But just cleaning up your diet, making it much cleaner than it was before, you're going to start to help to get these things out of your body. And using other things like psyllium husks in water helps to cleanse the gut. Bentonite clay helps to cleanse the gut. Maybe doing some colonics or enemas to help to physically cleanse the gut as well could be very beneficial. So how you decide to do this and how far you decide to take it is up to you, but just starting to cleanse and get those toxins and those residues out of your body is going to really help you to move forward on your vegan journey. And so do the inner work. So this is basically what we've been speaking about today. We have spoke about some of the nuts and bolts of the vegan diet, but the inner work as well. It really does lay a rock solid foundation for your vegan journey, especially if you're sensitive, which a lot of vegans are, which is why we go vegan in the first place. You need to stand strong in your decision on how to live your life when it seems like everyone around you is doing the opposite. And you'll be able to live your life from your heart and using your core values as a compass to guide you, like we've spoken about today. So really getting that work done and knowing that you're standing from that strong foundation is going to be really beneficial. And then getting support. So this is great what you guys are doing. You're doing this together as a group.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, it's fantastic. But you know, some people that are actually taking this journey are doing it all by themselves, and it's much harder. So you know, this is a tip that I give, and maybe for you guys, when you sort of come away from this group and you're out in your circle, your community on your own, maybe. If you don't have support in your immediate circle, it's really important to seek it out. It's a key to success. It's so much harder to succeed if you feel you are alone in your ethical and health-related decisions. We are social and group animals. We need to feel part of a community. So you can do that by joining some local or online vegan groups, seeking out a friend who wants to transition with you, or finding a mentor or guide. This is going to massively accelerate your success and make your vegan journey happier and more permanent. So there's lots of groups on Facebook, national vegan groups, international vegan groups, local vegan groups, meetup.com. I don't know if you have that over there, but that's something that we have here that are sort of local in-person groups. So if you have something like that over there, you may be able to find local groups that are focused around veganism and become part of that as well.
Yeah, I found a little group here. It's debunks on Facebook, so I'll share that on the page as well. Yeah.
Oh, you do have a group, yeah?
Yeah, there's a local Facebook group, and they've got great resources about being vegan here.
Nice, brilliant. So an action steps exercise. Write down 3 action steps you can take in the next 2 weeks to move you towards your goal based on your specific obstacles. So if your obstacle was that you didn't know how to cook vegan food, you might want to say, I will find a vegan cooking class and book myself on so I can update my cooking skills and create healthy and yummy vegan meals for myself and my family. So if you feel like you don't have time, you might want to write, I will write down exactly how I spend my time for a whole week and then review to see if there are any ways I may be wasting time on activities that do not move me towards my goal or serve me in any way. I'll replace those activities with ones that do move me towards my goal. For example, making a meal plan for the week or prepping some vegan lunches to take to work with me for the next couple of days. Or if it's community and support that you feel you need, I will research vegan groups either on Facebook or locally via meetup.com and join some so that I can feel supported and be part of a community of like-minded people and no longer feel alone or isolated in my ethical and health-related lifestyle choices. So that's something that you guys can do if you feel that would be helpful. Write yourself out some action steps based on any of those obstacles that we spoke about to help you to move forward over the next couple of weeks. And so we've come to the end now. There's a couple of gifts here for you. You can connect with me here by these channels. plantpoweredwellness.co.uk is my blog and website. Facebook.com/healthcoach Natalie is my Facebook page. And I also have a Facebook group if you guys would like to come and join me in there. Plant Powered Wellness, just search for that and you'll find it. And I'm always sharing information about like vegan recipes, plant-based diet, vegan lifestyle, and also plant-based remedies, essential oils. There's lots of information in there, and you can connect with me and ask questions and stuff in that group as well. And I can also offer you a free 50-minute discovery session I've written via phone or Skype there. We can do it like we're doing it now, or via Skype, obviously, because you guys, we're not in the same country. So this is just a session where we would sort of review your goals and where you want to be going on your journey, your obstacles, and sort of have a little look at that and see how we can move you forward in the best and most appropriate way possible for you. So if you think that might be beneficial, then you can email me. My email address is here, hello@natalieheath.co.uk, and request this session, and then we can just schedule something in. As I said, you can have a copy of these slides in PDF format. Again, just email me and I'll email that over to you. And an essential oil sample to help with addictions, anxiety, or any other physical or emotional issue that you're dealing with. So if you'd like to try something out for any of that, just email me. Or if you are going to go for the 50-minute session, that's something we can talk about in the session as well. So the last thing to show you is go vegan, and these are some of the reasons why you might be wanting to make this change. So thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm happy to stay on for a little while and answer any questions. So stop.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.